All right, Herc, it's an interesting time of year when MLS salaries drop. This, of course, happened last week, so we've got to look at the new top 10 earners across Major League Soccer. No surprise, Lionel Messi coming in at number one, earning a $20.4 million a year salary. These numbers, again, according to the MLS Players Association. Herc, now that we got everybody's contract, let's decide what the best and worst deals out there are. Let's judge some front offices here, shall we? All right, let's do a best contract here first. Who for you has the best contract in all of Major League Soccer?
Oh, Messi's got a great contract. Wouldn't you be happy if you were Messi? That's the best contract. Stop. I know what you're thinking, Seb. I know what you're thinking. This really is the best contract in Major League Soccer. Listen, base salary of $12 million, guaranteed of $20 million, okay? They gave him merchandising. They gave him stock options in Inter Miami. They gave him, a cut of MLS season pass, the subscriptions, whatever those are worth. They gave him the keys to the kingdom, and I still don't think they gave him enough. He's the only reason people outside of these circles, outside of North America, outside of being a hardcore MLS fan, he's the only reason they're tuning in. He really is. And I'll tell you what, if I'm Inter Miami, if I'm Major League Soccer, I'm trying to re-ink this man ASAP. I'm trying to do everything and anything I can for when he eventually decides he will play the 2026 World Cup on U.S. soil. When that happens, when he decides he's going to play again, if I'm Major League Soccer, if I'm Jorge Mas, David Beckham, Inter Miami, I'm doing my damnedest to make sure he's doing that as an Inter Miami player. I understand that $20 million may seem steep. I understand that these concessions I just mentioned may seem a little out there, but he's the only person on this earth you could do that for. And quite frankly, I think he's underpaid for the amount of attention he's given Major League Soccer. The only attention you're getting outside of this little circle is because of Messi.
Usually when you think best contract, you think of somebody pretty far down the totem pole, right? Somebody who's not making a lot of money, producing a lot of bang for the buck, but your logic is sound. It's hard to argue that MLS has ever done anything better in 1 year with $20.4 million than what they've gotten this year out of Lionel Messi. I'll go a little bit different, but I will keep it in Miami. Because now that we know the official numbers for guys like Luis Suarez and Jordi Alba, I think we can really truly start to appreciate just how valuable those players are. And the fact that they make so little, Herc, is shocking. I'll go Luis Suarez because we can attach it to the numbers of goals, right? $1.5 million. $1.5 million for a guy who not just provided goals, 21 goals for Inter Miami in league play, plus a couple in CONCACAF Champions Cup, but provided assists as well, provided that connectivity, provided that partnership for Messi to have the great season that he had as well, and for all the other guys. $1.5 million for all that Luis Suarez did, including helping this team stay afloat's not the right word, but continue to dominate when Messi wasn't around. I just don't think you can overstate just how good a deal this was for Inter Miami, the rest of Major League Soccer. You could say the same, Herc, about Jordi Alba. He's on right around the same amount of money, just an incredible bargain. The worry here for Inter Miami is it's a one-year deal. Luis Suarez is now negotiating for 2025, and off of these numbers, Herc, I know he's happy to be playing with Messi and company. If I'm Luis Suarez, I want a little bit more now, okay? I gave you your prove-it year. I showed you my knees are okay. Time for you to pay up, Miami. I don't care about your cap.
Yeah, same thing happened with Zlatan, right? He had that $1.5 million year, proved that he was healthy, proved that he was fine, and then he got in there. He got equity in, a franchise in Sweden,
yes,
Hammarby, and the $7 million that came with it. Honorable mention, by the way, Hugo Lloris, who's on $300K, I believe, for LAFC. This is a World Cup winner, an experienced goalkeeper. The goalkeeper I was just vouching for, I was just saying doesn't get respect in Stefan Fry, makes $600K. He makes $600K. That's twice what Hugo Lloris is making. Both those goalkeepers underpaid, but honorable mention there. Certainly, Luis Suarez deserves his due as well.
All right, Herc, enough of the good stuff. Let's talk bad stuff, because we got some bad contracts in Major League Soccer. Who's the worst for you?
I think we're going to probably be very similar here. It's Lorenzo Insigne. And we can start off just how he got his contract. I mean, Bill Manning, the ex-Toronto FC, I don't even know what he was, boring. No, he was a president there. And how did he find Lorenzo Insigne? He went on Transfer Market and said, oh, look at this. This looks interesting. Let's get him. A diminutive Italian, that's worked for us before. Let's do it again. And they gave this guy, what, $15 million. And there's 4 goals this season. Forget about the little, very little he's done on the field, okay? Let's talk about the damage he's done off the field. This man is hated by Toronto FC fans, and he probably hates Toronto FC fans as well. He's attributed to what is now a toxic culture in that locker room. You and I in Miami asked John Herdman about Lorenzo Insigne and the culture in that locker room and how he planned to turn things around. It sounded brilliant. It sounded romantic. It sounded very nice. It was anything but. This is one of those relationships where both parties just have to cut their losses.
Bad contract, no doubt about it. This might be the worst contract in Major League Soccer history, Herc. So it's hard to top that. Just to be a little bit different here, right? I'm going to look somewhere else in the top 10, and I'm going to pick a guy that I used to love as a player. But when you see what he's making, when you see what he's producing, and when you see where his team is at in the standings, it's just not working out. And that's Sebastian Driussi with Austin FC. So let's talk about the number first. $6.7 million. Now, Herc, you know this. Back in the day, dudes who were on $6.7 million in Major League Soccer, I mean, that was the elite of the elite of the elite. Not just player, but like marketable name. Driussi is a great player. Not what he was 2 years ago, but he's not like a hyper-marketable superstar. So right there, at $6.7 million for this guy, I'm already feeling like we're overpaying, okay? Austin doesn't make the playoffs, and here are his numbers for that $6.7 million. 7 goals, 3 assists in 27 games played. And Herc, the production is going down year over year over year. In 2022, his best year in MLS, incredible, 25 goals. 2023, 11 goals. This past season, 7 goals. The assists are down year over year as well. I think this number is based on 2022, and Austin's stuck with it right now. And that's $6.7 million. It's a very, very big weight for a club like Austin FC. The other reason why this is such a bad contract is you'll get guys who have big numbers, but they're maybe 15, 20, 25% of the team's budget. Driussi is almost 40% of Austin FC's budget. They're spending it all on this guy who at the end of the day delivered a little, but not enough, and they missed the playoffs. To me, that's a very, very bad deal, Herc.
Well, that's probably why they couldn't go out and splurge on a coach. Zing. Listen.
There it is.
I'd love to say it's all on Driussi right now, but it's not. He's been in a very bad situation with a very bad team, and things didn't go well for Josh Wolf, didn't go well for Driussi, but certainly he's getting paid for what he did in that MVP campaign, not what he's going to do or what they hoped he would have done. It's for the past that he's getting paid for.
All right, enough about the guys. Let's talk about the teams themselves. Who do you think are the best spenders, Herc, across Major League Soccer? As we take a look now at the highest spending teams in MLS. No surprise, Inter Miami 1, Toronto 2, LAFC 3, LA Galaxy 4, and Nashville 5. Who are your best spenders, Herc?
I'm going to go with the Seattle Sounders. Now,
yes, you are. Yes, you are.
No. Hear me out.
Sounders TV.
Hear me out. If you don't agree with me, you can tell me, but you're going to hear me out, okay? The Seattle Sounders are what? 15th in spending? $16 million. They just offloaded 3.4 Nico Lodeiro. They just offloaded Xavier Arriaga, who's just under 800,000. If you look at the players they have on this team, they've got Raul Ruidiaz and Albert Rusnak, who make over $2 million. Everybody else, I think there's 4 other players who are over $1 million. That's it. 6 players total make over $1 million here. And we're talking about the best defense in Major League Soccer. We're talking about 14 shutouts this season in all competitions, 16 in all competitions. 16 in all competitions. This is a team that's only been scored on 35 times in 34 games. And they did it by losing, their GM, the architect of those MLS Cup years. And here they are. They were 4th in the West, 7 points behind the league leaders both LA teams who are tied in points. This is a team that's done it right, not only on the field defensively, they can get better offensively, and off the field. Very smartly orchestrated. And while there was a lot of criticism on Craig Weibel, there was a lot of criticism on Adrian Hanover and this new version of the Seattle Sounders. Here they go, chugging along, doing what they're doing, and they're mid-table in spending. Doesn't mean that it's going to be mid-table in spending next year, but certainly the return here is pretty impressive.
All right, Herc's going with Seattle as his best spender in Major League Soccer for a little West Coast feel. I will go East Coast, or at least Eastern Conference, and pick the Columbus Crew. Actually, right around the same number, Herc, almost exactly as what Seattle's spending, which goes to show you don't have to spend a ton to be not just good, but very, very good. So $16.57 million is the number for the Columbus Crew. Again, it's right there, middle of the pack. And look at all that they've done. I mean, they've won a lot. MLS Cup last year, we got Leagues Cup this year, the incredible run in CONCACAF Champions Cup. And it's not just winning, Herc, it's winning with style. It's historic achievements. To do that for less than $20 million in total payroll is really remarkable. And I could have put this up for best contract in Major League Soccer, but I'll talk about it now because it's part of the best spender argument. Their biggest contract is actually Diego Rossi. But Cucho Hernandez, Herc, is their guy. They got him for about $2.6 million a year. He's almost 20 goals and double-digit assists. I mean, that's an incredible return in terms of goals and assists for a guy making less than $3 million a year. To me, Cucho Hernandez is just a fantastic signing and evidence, proof of just how good the Crew are when it comes to those big front office decisions. From the best spender, Herc, we go to the worst spender. Who you giving that honor to?
I'm giving it to Toronto FC. Now, listen, Toronto FC, if you look at the spenders, only Inter Miami, and Inter Miami well spent that money, right? Only Inter Miami outspend them. And this is easily one of the worst teams in all of Major League Soccer. 61 goals against, a whopping minus 21 goal differential. We've already spoken about how toxic that locker room, that situation is. John Herdman, however long or longer John Herdman sticks around, that remains to be seen. We've already spoken about Lorenzo Insigne, Bernadeschi, those contracts. But to show you how bad they are at doing business, a player in that organization, a club legend in Jonathan Osorio, Canadian international, most capped player in Toronto FC history, the captain that they have, he says, you know what? Let me help you out. Let me give you some cap release. I will take a pay cut. And he himself goes out and tries to recruit and get players to come to Toronto, gets Richie Laryea to come to Toronto by taking less money. The players understand how bad you are at business, that they, for the love of this team and for the love of that city, will do this to try to right this ship. It really is one of the most toxic environments in all professional sports, certainly in Major League Soccer. And I can't believe I'm sitting here trying to say how good of a guy Jonathan Osorio is for doing what that front office could not do, which is the right thing, right this ship. And it's only going to get worse.
All right, Herc has gone Toronto for worst spender. I will go Philadelphia Union, which I know is going to surprise some people because they're not big spenders, right? And usually when big spenders are bad, that's who we focus on for worst spender. Philadelphia were 26th, Herc, out of 27 in spending, right? So next to last. You're almost not trying. To me, here's the problem. Philadelphia has been so close for years and years and years, Herc, to doing something great. They've had good players, great coach in Jim Curtin. The fans are intense in Philly. I know it's a little bit off the beaten path. I know they might not be as big as like the Flyers or the Phillies or the Eagles, but Union fans care. Andre Blake cares, Herc. He was on this show at the beginning of the season, basically begging ownership to spend money. So after years and years and years of punching above their weight, of Jim Curtin kind of dragging more than you would expect out of the Philadelphia Union, he's rewarded with ownership giving him the 26th most amount of money with which to compete. And what happened? The Philadelphia Union missed the playoffs. Shame on their ownership and a challenge to Philadelphia Union ownership. You cannot pretend to be Major League and spend $13 $18.81 million on the entirety of your roster. Shame on you. Union fans deserve better. Tell me I'm wrong, Herc.
You're not wrong, but they've been using this model for how many years? And this is probably the first year they've not made the playoffs in how many years? And they've been to finals, whether it's Open Cup or whether it's MLS Cup. And I know it's cheap. I know it screams budget. I know it screams bootleg Moneyball, but it's what's gotten them results. There are teams who don't look to just make playoffs. There are teams who don't look to just make finals. There are teams who demand that you win these finals. And those are the teams that now we're starting to see separate themselves from the rest of Major League Soccer. And my fear for the Philly Union is they're not part of that, and they won't be part of that. And the way Major League Soccer is going, they'll never catch the elite who will be part of that.